Yeah. Good news is none of the things we talked about up to this point were on my podcast list because I forgot to unmute you because I had people from, remember when we were talking, Ken's was in here and you were here and I was starting the podcast,
Oh, for your
and then
stream
I
the other
muted
day.
for the first like 10 minutes so that we could keep talking while the stream started. Never went back and unmuted it. And I just looked at because I was like, I better make sure the audio levels are good before we really get into the real topics. And alas, I saw that your bar was not moving, and I was like, what could have caused this?
It wouldn't be a podcast day without a little weird curveball.
To be fair, I caught it very early on, and we've been talking like this for the whole time. So I mean,
no worries.
So
it's just it comes with the territory.
Comes with the territory.
Curveball, the slider, you know.
Thankfully, I caught it before we got 30, 40 minutes in. Like I normally it's we're halfway or more through the podcast before I'm like, oh, this whole podcast has been ruined and all the topics have been ruined, but they've not. And this time I mean, it was a good topic. I like what we were talking about. I mean, I wish people would have. We were talking about some great stuff, guys. You missed it. It was fantastic. We solved a lot of world problems here, but placebo.
Yes. What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
What is success?
I love no segue, no lead in.
That's why I was giggling.
No abstract, just some like, you know.
I will let you. We will start with a question, then we can build off of it. See, it's. I give you full reign. You can say anything, and it would be proper.
Oh, can I? Can I say anything?
Anything
on your
anything?
I don't think I.
You're I think out of everybody, you're the least likely to say something. You're the most worried about what would be online with your face saying it than anybody else. So that's why I'm like, you're safe. You can say whatever you want because I know you are the safest option for this. Now, some of my other people, I'm not going to give it to evil. I'm not giving it to evil reply. Yeah, hell no. But
they can't say anything. But you know the rules I've set for myself that constrain me, and thus I can. Okay, I see. I wasn't thinking about it in terms of those rules, but you're right. You're right. What is success? I think that success is like love as a word, right? So the two words are thrown around and people don't really know what they mean when they say it, right? Or perhaps they do mean something, but it's a poor communicative tool for me to say I have had success or I have been in love because you would have no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right?
Or what actually happens is we would just translate it into what we think it means.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. And then now we have a problem. We didn't before, but now we have a communicative problem.
Yeah.
All because I've decided to use that word, right?
Yeah.
So the definition of success that I would go with to best facilitate communication would be the achieving of a goal. I think the achieving of a goal is success.
Yeah.
Now, you know, it can be a bit tricky because I forget if it was like, I think it might have been Edison that was like, I have not failed to create a light bulb. I know 99 ways not to create the light bulb. I know 99 ways that don't work to make a light. You know, it's you know, there's some wonkiness in there with success. You know, it's because it's like even in failure you gain something, but that is all I would say about success. It is the achieving of a goal, and not necessarily what a lot of people go with as is financial, right? Or you know, happiness in life, right? I would not. You know, you can say I have had financial success, and that would be better in my mind.
Yeah, it's almost like success needs an adjective, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's like what? Well, okay, cool. What kind of? I have had success with my bowel movement. I have bowel success. Yes. Very good. And everybody's like, yeah. But if you just said, I'm very successful in my life, people would be like, oh, that's so wonderful. Oh my gosh. I hope my children was like, yes, I poop twice a day very aggressively. It's fantastic. Got it all out. Like, wait,
Right.
what?
And this is what kills me about when people talk about it. They'll say things like, "Oh, Elon, super successful, blah
Mhm.
blah blah." And it's like, well, sure, maybe in some regards,
Yes.
right? Which regards, right? Because
Yeah.
certainly not all of them, but perhaps four or five you can point out and say, financially, absolutely. Financially, he's been very successful,
Yeah.
right? Now, I don't know what his interpersonal life is with his many kids that he has sired that,
That's what I was
are,
wondering. Yeah, yeah.
you
It's
know what I
like
mean? Like,
some
I
he's
don't know
good
that I
with,
would
some
point
he's not.
to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got
I
a
don't
pretty
know that I
broad.
would point to familial life as an element of success that
Agreed.
he is
He's
is
not. He's
going
not been
in, right?
particularly successful with his marriage,
Um,
right? Of course. I mean,
but then you have someone like
she was a
what was
kook
it,
job, but
T-Pain or 50 Cent that you were talking about that you really vibe with because he's been with the same woman. He's just a good man to her, even in the face of all of his
yeah, I can't.
financial success
Who
and
was that?
popularity.
I think it was T Pain.
Was it
I'm
Ice
pretty
Cube?
sure.
I don't know.
No, it was. It was. I think you're right. It was either T Pain or I think it was T Pain, but it may have been 50 Cent. It was one of. You're right. It was one of those big name rappers that like well, what it was is I saw an article talking about how like he has been with her since before he was famous, since
Yeah.
like and he's been there. Actually, I think another good example of this was Pierce Brosnan because a lot of people gave him. He had been. I think his previous wife died or something, and he married a woman, and she was very good to him. Took care, like basically became the mother of his children, and
Mhm.
she's obviously put on. I mean, it's 25 years later, and she's put on a little. She's still, I think, pretty, but she's just
Yeah.
a little bit extra cushion for the anyway. Um, and yet and people are like, oh, this is why you don't get married, guys, because you get stuck. And there's a lot of that mentality, and it was like,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. That's fantastic. One, you can tell he's happy with her. He
Right.
he has found happiness that all these like, oh, he's not banging the hottest chick on the block anymore.
Yeah.
We'll never know. I don't know. I hope they eventually mature to the point where they get to experience that kind of like intimacy and love, and like
Yeah.
there's a different depth to it that I hope that but I don't know because I mean we kind of talked about this earlier. I think there's a lot of people who are just so shallow that I don't know that their brains will ever get
At the end of the
past.
day, we are animals, right?
Yeah.
And we are animals that have been gifted with a certain type of intelligence, right? Or at least the potential for it.
Yeah.
But you know, we have not all been gifted with it equally,
Yeah.
and those among us that choose not to use the intelligence, it fades.
Mhm.
It fades over time. Um,
I
so
agree.
yes, 100%, I agree. People can be very shallow; they won't know it. But I think is a good element of what I would call, an interpersonal familial success,
Success.
right?
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Um, that is an example of what I would describe that as.
I wonder if we have gotten. I do think society has gotten way too focused on the financial success because there used to be
I
people,
agree.
even during the Depression, like families were able to have like 6 kids, 8. I mean, they were having a lot of kids, right? And now people are like, "Oh, we can't have children. We just can't afford them." Meanwhile, they
Yeah.
have 3 game consoles, 4 TVs,
Mhm.
2 vehicles. Like it's like and these people were happy too. Like if you read their journals or their diaries, they were happy with their like they died satisfied, being like, I lived a good, fulfilling life,
Yeah.
surrounded by my children. I saw who I got to see grow and have grandchildren. I can now go peaceful. Whereas you see people die now, and it's like, frantic. I wish I would have done more. I wish, it's like,
Right.
I do think we got those two things. I think they were used to be balanced. Whereas like it's good to have financial success, but it's not the primary type of success that will lead to genuine, deep, meaningful happiness. And I think somehow
I
it got
think you're right. I think the misuse of the word has fucked with the minds of people
Mhm.
to a large degree because I legitimately think that a lot of people choose not to have kids, as you say, we can't afford it, right? Um, because I think what they tell themselves is, I'm not successful enough yet,
Mhm.
right? Or we need to go and be successful, then we can do those things. And when they're saying we need to go be successful, and so they mean financially. It's the default,
Yeah.
right? The type of success that they're looking for is almost always financially. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I know that just throw around the word success and the default that they're talking about is financial success. There is nothing else that matters. It is financial success.
Is the primary version of success that we think makes us happy. Yes.
That they throw out, and they expect everyone else to just understand that is what they're talking about. And I think that has caused a lot of this, right? Because they feel they need money before everything else in life, right? Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, this is the reason I brought this up is because, well, so I, being a communication expert, and you being a sociology, we'll call it expert, right? I think that's safe enough, right? More or less. Right?
I know nothing.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's a way of saying yes in philosophy, right? Like I am. I know nothing.
I have the biggest dick in the room in philosophy, right? It's that is how philosophers
let me pat myself on the back real quick. Yeah.
Let me fling this over my shoulder is what the philosophers say when they say I know nothing.
But it came from a post by Pokimane, who is most people would probably know, but because she's fairly famous, but streamer, and she had this rant or something. I think she talked about during one of her streams where she complained about people valuing money and influence over relationships and friendship, and she talked about the switching of success, and it's funny because people kind of called her out on it, saying, here's a stream where people who didn't want to pay the prices for your cookies, you called them poor boys. And here's where you got angry at people because they didn't give enough subs during one of your streams. I mean, you clearly built this is the type of friendships and the people who surround you who are all focused on money. That's because that's who you were. Like that's and she had some weak, I can't remember, some weak response. I mean, it was zero responsibility, right? Like that's. I was actually kind of hoping that maybe she had a eye-opening moment. You know, when you think you,
the epiphany,
and finally you're like, oh, I have surrounded myself with all these people, and life isn't about this. But it wasn't. She just
I will change and be better.
No, she was just doing her normal. I'm disassociated from the consequences of my actions. But it's what made me think about success, because I was like, a lot of people would look at Pokimane and be like, oh, she's
successful,
a multi-millionaire, pretty famous, successful. But then she's clearly not happy. I mean, you can tell that she is not. There's something, and I think that happens a lot. I see that a lot with fame and internet Hollywood. It's like people who you would assume. I think even business people, right? Like, why would Jeff Bezos need to bang his best friend's wife? If he was truly happy and satisfied, I mean, he's one of the most financially successful people out there. Mm-hmm. But there was something inside of him that was missing, that he needed to have that extra.
That's the key. I think that's the key. The type of success that I most respect, that I think is in the long run most conducive to happiness and joy, if that is the goal, is success in conquering oneself and one's internal thoughts and self-talk, or whatever you want to call it. The ability to regulate your internal sort of temperature and emotions, I think is, if I had to choose one type of success to be the pinnacle of success, what we should mean when we say the default of success, right? What really should be understood to be the one, I think that would be it. Because you're right, he clearly did not have that if he was banging his best friend's wife, right? Because 100%, that's it's a power thing, right? It's it's feeling.
No matter how financially successful and powerful he's very powerful. He also owns the Washington Times, right? Like the Washington Post. There's still something inside of him, did not. And that's I think a very it's like it doesn't. I know people who think, oh, just once I hit this financial
doesn't work like that.
Yes, then people will respect me. Then I will feel good about myself. It doesn't. It doesn't work like that. Also, the people who hate you and don't respect you now, they'll still hate you and not respect you. Like, a lot of people will use money as an excuse. Right, but once you make money, they'll still think you're a douchebag. They'll still think you're lazy, still think you're childish. They'll just be like, "Oh, you looked into the money."
like I've said before, what you look for, you will find. If
Yeah,
if they wanted to hate you before, they're gonna just find new reasons to hate you now.
yeah,
Like it's nothing's gonna change other than the reasons that they feel to justify whatever bullshit they think. That's
yeah,
the only thing that's gonna the outcome, the results, the effect in the real world. It's all gonna be the same.
yeah. And I mean, you just, I don't know. You go and you see people like O.J. Simpson or whatever, and you go, man, he was famous athlete,
Mm-hmm.
super just crazy wealthy. Hollywood had started having a Hollywood career taking off, but he was, I mean, clearly unhappy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
clearly a very unhappy person. And you would think people would look at that and like process, like, clearly that's not the source of joy or something. I do think there's something else about that, right? Like joy. There's a difference between, I think happiness is almost a shallow term. Joy, fulfillment is what we should be striving for, not
Mm-hmm.
because I think joy can happen even in rough situations. You can be joyful, you can be fulfilled. It's like I think happiness is like almost a temporary. It's the like you were saying the emotional just current burst of
Yeah.
chemicals in your
If there's a
brain.
hot girl in my bed, I'm happy, but I might not be joyful,
Yeah,
right? I can know every minute of what I'm doing is like not good for me, not right, not
yeah,
getting me where I want to go, not making me into the person I want to be. And yet I can be perfectly happy just watching what's going on.
yeah.
There's the shallow versus the serious long-term thing, I think that's a biblical principle, but
Yeah, oh, it is. It
yeah.
is. Yeah. There's a lot that actually like it's like kind of, man. What was it? There's something I was thinking that this week, and I don't remember what it was, but it was one of those principles of like do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is like
Mhm.
it originated. I think. I mean, I know Jesus said that, right? Like that's a
Mhm.
big. That's actually why I say it in King James, because it was just like, it's da 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 da. But it's also known as the Golden Rule. A lot of other
Yeah,
people have
yeah, yeah.
stated it, so it's not. But I just remember it being something that was like consistently coming up this week, where it was like people would not hold others to the same standard that they hold themselves to, or you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it was like, yeah. Because here's the other thing, I do think like you are very sound on this, in that you do hold yourself very accountable for things, and so you expect other people to do the same, right? Like that's why
Yeah.
you. And it's almost like a reverse, like it becomes problematic because other people don't do that, but it is like a, yeah, no, because a lot of people are like, well, would you want someone to call you out for this? I was like, yes. You
Yes,
would be a person who's like,
absolutely.
yes, I would hope that they would try to help build me up, and they would call out my error. If I am wrong, they would correct it. Yeah,
The utmost respect that I have for the people in my life are for the ones that will tell me when I am doing something wrong or will make the right call when I can't. Utmost respect to be told, hey, you really shouldn't be doing that,
mm.
and for me to then take a second, 5 minutes, think
Process. So
about,
yeah,
you know
are they?
what,
Yeah,
you're right. Thank you. I could not love it any more than I do. It is fantastic.
yeah. It's funny. I wish I was as quick as you were with it, because usually I'm trying to work on it, but my natural instinct is first push back, right,
Yeah.
or like push back, and then the next day be like, they were right. And then you have to go and apologize, because usually if you push back, you may have pushed
Yeah.
back because you said something you shouldn't have, or you defend yourself too ferociously. And instead of
Yeah.
taking it as a personal attack, just be like, okay, you know what? Let me just, you know,
Well, this
um,
is another point at which, I feel I've failed my way to victory, because when I was with uh, a certain significant other
uh huh.
that you would know for 4 years
Yes, I
in
know. Yeah,
FSU,
yeah.
right? I didn't win a single argument. For in all 4 years, not one did I win.
Mm,
Even ones that I knew I was right about and I had slam dunk arguments,
yeah,
I somehow lost the argument. I don't know what trickery was done. I don't know what manipulation tactics were employed or whatever it was. I lost all the arguments. And so I got really used to just thinking, okay, how am I wrong? Why am I wrong? My initial kick just became, I am wrong and I need to figure out why. Does
yeah,
that make sense? Like,
yeah. So I don't know if it's healthy to. Like it's funny when you can balance
It's probably
that.
not healthy, but it's
Yeah,
what I do.
if you can balance that with a like, okay, how am I wrong in a rational, reasonable, not a,
Yeah.
but still not be, because I do think that's unhealthy if you let other people. Because then you will make bad decisions if you
Yes.
like you said, when you're trying
And
to
that's what
find
happened. I
something.
did.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like if you try to find why you're wrong, even when you're not wrong, and it could damage your life in the long run, but you accept that you're wrong, then that's a problem too, right? Like that's unhealthy,
Yeah.
and
100%.
so yeah,
I let it affect my decisions, and I made the wrong ones. And certainly, I think the right thing to do is, question why you're doing what you're doing. Think, okay,
yeah,
am I wrong? But have the foundation of,
yeah,
a process that you trust, that
hmm
you have some good reasons to say, no, I don't think I'm wrong on this.
yeah, yes, like that. I understand where you're coming from, and I hear it, but I disagree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next topic here? We're shifting. Ba, 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 ba. I wanted to. I'm going to
Nice
introduce.
abstract.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce topic shifting music. That's and it's purely my beautiful voice that does it. Okay, because here's an interesting. I think it was a quote maybe somebody put on. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I told you to be prepared for it because this week. And the quote is, ba, ba, ba. When you are younger, you believe there will be many people with whom you connect. But as you age, you realize the number is quite small. Now, I think that may be maybe too brief of a, like most great quotes, it needs more expansion or clarity.
Yeah.
But
pretty
it's a
much
good
art.
starting point.
It's art that's there to get you
Yes,
thinking a certain
exactly.
way.
It's
And
a
then
starting point, and then you can build off of that. So,
what's crazy is, you said it twice now. So I've heard you sort of
mhm.
you prepped me for this a couple days ago, and I on the day you told me this a few days ago, I thought, oh, immediately something comes to mind. I don't need to write this down. I just know, right?
I do
Today,
that all
the
the
exact
time.
the same thing happened.
Oh, really? Okay. See, I'm the
The
opposite.
exact,
I
like,
forget.
it's practically like
Uh-huh.
there's a nerve in
The
there
directly you
that,
hear it and it goes, yeah.
it's like it's a retrieval cue for that
Uh-huh.
nerve to just fire, right? The
Yeah.
exact same fucking one.
That's cool.
Just perfectly fires, because I knew it came to me immediately. I knew what I was going to talk about, right? I don't know if it's a point I've made before. I know I've made it with you. I don't know if I've made it on the podcast before, but I think to connect with people, you need to exert a certain level of intelligence and wisdom. I think that, if I were to connect with someone who is not smart, not wise, that connection is not
Tenuous.
very strong,
Yeah.
right? It's not great. So I think that what you need, by and large, to actually connect with people is a deeply intelligent, wise other person to connect with, who is like, I guess that's what I'm saying. Stupid people can't have connection. That is of value. Is
I
my
see.
is my
I was okay. Well, part secret. I
it's
think
a
stupid people are
harsh,
going to have can have connections with other stupid. I think you have to be equal. I think if you're shallow, you can feel emotionally connected to other shallow people, and you're both just kind of like. You like to swim in the kitty? That's why girls, oh, Chanel, oh my God, girl. And they will be best
So,
friends
what
off
you're
of, but
saying
it's like,
is
I know what
that
you're saying.
is
It's
the
not really a
same.
connection.
I think I think it's very different.
Okay. Yes.
From the
First, you're
connection
saying
that
you don't have a real meaningful
I
trusting.
think the
Yes.
more you can understand about the other person, the
Okay.
better the connection gets. And I think it requires the capacity to understand that stuff about the other person. And
Okay.
there are very smart, very intelligent people out there that I would have no ability to connect with, because we don't have any similar life experiences at all.
Uh-huh.
Like 100% those exist, right? Like, and I would struggle with that, even though they're very smart. It
That's
just wouldn't
fair.
work.
Yeah.
But I do think that I don't think that it's the same if you're equal at a low level. I think that is a
Hmm.
very not good connection, or at least not a sturdy one of real value.
Yeah. Because I do think some of the dumber people I've known were very loyal. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Or something. But they did they and their friends were they could be friends forever, and if somebody needs something, they were there for, like, I would, it's like, it's not a bad relationship they had with other people. I don't know if they know why. Maybe that's it. Maybe they have a connection, but they just don't understand it, and maybe that decreases its value to some degree. You know what I mean? Like,
I do. I don't know.
I'm trying to kind of, I guess I'm working it out in my brain.
But
As
you're
we
right.
talk about it.
I mean, I have known a lot of people that were very not smart, that like that did attach,
Yes.
and try to build a connection, right? I guess I just think that connection is limited in quality.
Huh.
Now,
I guess I'm trying not to be a snob about it.
no, I totally get it, and it feels very snobby to say,
Yeah, because I'm wondering if there's someone with a 160 IQ who thinks that our relationship, because we're not that. Of course, do you think there's a bottom
I'm not
level?
trying to
Yeah, I have a question. Do you think
IQ.
there's a bottom tier of that, to where, like, if you're above it, you can. It doesn't matter if you're. I was just using IQ as an example. I'm sorry. I was just using it as like a measuring stick, not that it is the measuring stick. I was just using it as a for example purposes. Like, if you're above 120, you can have certain kinds of relationships and understand it, or if it's because like really intelligent people seem to struggle in social because it's like they do become socially awkward.
But that's because it's with people who are I think there's two critical parts to this. There's the intelligence and the wisdom, right?
Okay.
And I suppose what I'm trying to get at is a certain like interpersonal intelligence, or the ability to like, so these super smart high IQ people, I think, struggle to understand what goes on in the minds of others around them, right?
Okay.
Like what you said earlier about your initial reaction being to push back to things.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that about you. Right.
Yeah.
I understand that element of your personality and who you are. And I think that is the element that is of value in the connection. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Not necessarily the intellect that I have about
I get
this
what
stuff.
you're saying. Yes.
It's an interpersonal understanding that is necessary. And I think that progresses linearly from dumb to smart.
Okay.
The better you are at it, the better connective tissue you're going to have.
Yeah.
Is my claim. And the worse you are at it, the worse connective tissue you have the capacity to build.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. By the way, make sure your mic, you adjust, and it was actually better. Right. Yeah. No, it was fine. It's just, you started getting a little quieter, like you started fading. It's like, right, you're good. I can still hear you. I was just making sure I didn't want it to like start writing back, and then all of a sudden people are like putting their ear up to the phone to try to make sure they could hear. No, yeah, I guess there is something there, because it's like, you're right, because you might not get as offended by a reaction I would have, because you understand exactly what I would do, whereas someone who is shallower or doesn't, they would absorb my pushback and would be immediately like, and get angry, and
like we really enjoy our friend Kevin, right?
Yes.
And we know some little quirks that he might throw out every once in a while that we go, that's him. There he is. That's him. Because we are like interpersonally connected and able to understand these parts and these little things. Whereas someone who is not would just be like, well, fuck you. What do you mean? That's totally not okay,
Yeah. And we take it with you're right. We're like, oh, I get where he's, you almost understand where he's coming from better, because you understand the quirk a bit. Yeah. I get you. I think you're right. I think it helps. You're right. It also helps. I do think it whittles it down, because I do think also I perceive, and I think you do too sometimes, or not sometimes, they sound like I did it all the time, but we just have it in different scenarios. Mm-hmm. But people's actual intent, or like, it makes me know when I'm like, I can tell I'm not going to click with this person. Mm-hmm. There are things that they do that just, I'm not going to click with it.
Yeah.
Or I don't like that, or whatever. Like, I get it, it's their quirk, but I don't like that quirk, and I know I will never like that quirk, and it will always annoy. And I do think that maybe also is a bit of it. As you age, you get a little bit more knowledgeable as to like
Patterns.
patterns and whether or not people are adaptable. Because
Yeah.
when you're young, you always think, oh, like I know we've both talked about this. We thought if you just give the right information, people will process it and they will change their minds and they will be, oh, you're right. Let's seek the truth. And the older we've gotten, the more we've been like, you can give factual, provable evidence, and they will still be like, no, I am staying where I'm at. I don't care. And you realize, oh, people don't even want to live their lives according to truth. A lot of times they are intentionally balls deep in delusion.
Ostrich head in the sand.
Yes. And you go, oh, you can't save everybody. There's not that element, and I do think there's a part that does come with age and just experiencing that and being like, oh, it only becomes real after you've experienced it in a very impactful, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, learning experience manner or something. It sticks in your head.
To some degree, it's this hopeful delusion that you exist in at the start. That over time, like as you gain in knowledge and wisdom about what is actually going on around you, right? You're refining your beliefs into better and better thing, and it's just you got to get rid of some of those childish, hopeful thoughts that we all have because we want the best for everyone. Yeah.
It is interesting because I was thinking, it does feel like in high school, right? Let's when you're starting, or let's even middle school up through, being liked by everyone and being part of the cool group or whatever, like that seems very impactful, right? Like it's almost like the advice. Boy, I stutter bad. The advice that people give youth is very accurate, and they're like, listen, don't worry about if everybody likes you in high school because this isn't the end of the world. I know it feels like this is going to be, you're either going to be alone or be accepted or not be accepted for the rest of your life based off of what you're experiencing now. But reality is, a lot of these people, you won't even know them in 10 years. They will be poof memories, You won't even think about them or they won't think about you, And it's like, there's something about having more time makes it under your belt, just makes that more, you have better clarity of vision as to how time affects things, or you know what I mean? Like you realize,
I do. I think it's I think it's a genuine need for acceptance. I think that we all have a genuine need for acceptance, but where that acceptance comes from, it is a big deal. And I think that the fallacy that all kids have is that it must come from outside. And as you grow older, you start to realize that it can come from within. And so it doesn't matter what you all think because I'm okay,
Yeah. I know I'm right. I don't care. Yeah.
It's a monumental mountain to climb to get there.
Yeah.
And to ask the kids to do it is it's a big task, It's a hard thing to do. But it's certainly the right thing to do. But I think that's the change over time is you accept yourself more.
How much, I was just having this thought, how much do you think being an extrovert or being an introvert impacts that? Because I'm thinking of some people in my life that I think, oh, they still need lots of acceptance from a lot of people that are external to themselves. Like I see them and I know that they need it to drive them, right? Like that's what gives them energy. That's what kicks it. Whereas I am very much not like that.
They've
right?
fallen into.
Okay.
I think that it is. I don't think being an introvert or extrovert has anything to do with this process of changing from the acceptance of others to acceptance of yourself. But I do think that it is an easy rut to fall into if you get that acceptance from others to be like more, and then you need it, whereas if you don't, well, then you could equally fall into the other rut of, well, if I'm not getting it from elsewhere and it's a need, I'm going to give it to myself to some degree, right? And then over time, you get more and more and more and more and more, So I'm not sure exactly, but I don't think it's introvert, extrovert.
Yeah, because I mean, I know
specifically.
introvert extrovert is like you get energy or you give energy from public settings. Is
It's a
basically
stimulation thing.
yeah,
I believe in, at least from the psychology that I learned and that I taught for AP psychology. It was like if you, the example that we give is if you squirt lemon on someone's tongue and they're an introvert, their sense organs are going to fire more and faster and
hmm,
stronger than an extrovert does.
it's
So if you put an
interesting.
introvert and an extrovert in the same situation,
They will
the
experience it
introvert is going to
differently.
be far more stimulated by it, right? And thus they're going to get tired quicker because literally all of their organs are going, right?
Uh
Whereas the
huh.
extrovert less act, and it's easier for them. Does that make sense
Yeah,
to
that's
sort of?
so wow. It's so weird because like I feel like I have heavily shifted. When I was in high school, I was very well. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
very, but I like to go out with friends. I realized I never was big into big parties, but I would like to go out and just be around people and like get in the car and you go drive around. Ooh, there's people in that car, and I wanted to experience everything, and it gave me energy.
Yeah.
Like I could stay up later at night because once you start getting around your friends and getting around other people,
Fun.
I'm the exact opposite now. Now, if I'm around a lot of people, I'm like, I am done. I have to go. Like, I think of uh, the big difference between me and Ply is Ply. He goes live and is like gives him he gets energy from the people and it gives him the and I am like I start and by the time I am done at 2.5 maybe 3 hours
Yeah.
I'm burned out.
Yeah.
I'm just so exhausted. I feel physically tired from streaming.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't love it, but it's like it's not that I don't enjoy the people that come in and but just that constant like and
Yeah.
it is interesting because I do wonder how that shifted so drastically for me because that is a thing and I wonder like okay let's just say I guess I don't know I think this is let's say substance use is that YouTube won't
Hmm.
I don't usually like a lot of it right most things I don't enjoy getting to a point of where I'm not cognizant, but I wonder if it's because I'm over, like I get very stimulated, but I do not. I have tried every scenario Underman of the green. Okay, I have tried every form, every delta this, delta that,
Hmm.
the regular food, drink, uh, cigar, if we will, but it's like I have never enjoyed it because it's just like it's so
Yeah.
much that I don't and I think maybe what you're saying is like I wonder if that's because I'm an introvert and I get way more stimulated by it and it instead of it feeling like it's calming me down it does the exact
Yeah.
opposite. It makes me like panic and I'm like so I don't like it. Um,
I think it could very well be the case.
that's
The other
interesting.
day we were talking and you were like, "Oh yeah, I my buddies were in Discord and I was gonna chat with them, so I was gonna go grab a drink from the fridge and I like had a sip and I was like, nope, can't not doing that, can't not into it, you know."
Yeah.
And I could be. It's just the stimulation is not eh, enjoyable for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Totally reasonable.
That's so interesting. Yeah, it's just you said that now, and I was like, oh, dog. I was like, started thinking. I was like, yeah, that's really interesting. I never heard the lemon thing before, and I was like,
I
that's
hadn't until I
crazy.
started teaching a couple of years ago. I thought that was a really interesting
Yeah.
little detail. I also think to some degree, like personal preferences sort of dictate the energy gain and the
Mm-hmm.
energy lost, right? Like I think about when we used to play D&D, right? When I would DM that first campaign and
Yeah.
um, I would always get annoyed because we would go for like 3 hours and it was like some of the most fun I've ever had. And I'm like, I could go for another 10 hours, right?
Uh huh.
We can just go and I'm golden. And, we would have our friend Jacob, who after, 2.5 hours would be like, oh, I'm getting tired. I can't, I'm dying, and so on and so on. It's like, there's such a stark difference between it giving me so much energy and so much life and so much
Yeah.
vibrance and it just draining him that I was the only conclusion I could come to. And to some degree, is like you must just not enjoy the activity,
Yeah.
or I must really enjoy the activity, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But
It's
it's got
interesting.
to be a personal preference thing. and not just a pure stimulation thing. I don't.
Yeah, no, because I'll give you a better an example. Is
Yeah.
I think when we get in chat and we talk, I get energy from that. I enjoy it. I could do it all day. We can sit and then, even when we do other things, we come back and have, something popped in my mind. Let's have, and then we'll talk about it for 30 minutes or whatever. But I enjoy that. But I think sometimes when our group gets bigger and bigger, and there is an element of sometimes other people create more of a drain on me, and I start to feel a little more exhausted by it, and then I do have to either go. I mean, I don't think I've ever particularly left the group because of but I will, sometimes mute and go watch a show or something, because maybe it's also what's being talked about. I don't know, but I do think there's an element of that. It's who I'm near.
Is it like because there's a productivity to this, that when we are discussing things, we're working through it, we're figuring it out, and there's an element of growth, right? There's a legitimate
I was wondering because there's a lot of stuff that when they talk, I'm like,
and I don't think that's there the larger the group gets.
I agree with that. But
actually, in fact, add just about anyone else, and I think that we lose except maybe Jacob. Jacob, I think he can occasionally give us a good thing that we can go with.
That's interesting because I was thinking that about in general. My limit is about 4 people in a group, maybe 5 if they're all really interesting. But you start getting bigger than that, and I start thinking conversations get shallow and they get. I start getting bored, and I start thinking like we're not doing. You're right. The more you talk about it, the more I think there is something about it, like because we're connecting. When it's close, you can connect with people, and you're talking about meaningful things that are real. And it's like, even if it's about sports or about there's some level of like, I'm learning who you are. I don't know. There's something interesting and deeper there going on. But when it starts getting bigger, the conversations just kind of get like. Who cares? Why am I wasting breath and time on it? Like, it really is.
Yeah, I think it takes a certain skill to, in a big group, maintain the through line.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right? The bigger the group gets, the harder it is to maintain that through line. And I think, at least, I don't know what other groups you do this with, but at least in ours, no one gives a fuck about that through line except the 2 of us. I'll be just straight up with you. No one fucking cares about it at all. Which is not to slight them, right?
No,
it's not to say
that's why I was laughing. I know what
bad.
you mean, and I'm giggling at the way. I get what you're saying.
It's not to say they're bad people. It's just they don't care about it, right? For them, it's a conversation. If we want to go that way or that's totally fine. We'll go that way, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I think we often, in discussing many of our things, we care about that through line.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what I mean when I say even add one other person, and I think it falls apart because I think it's maybe their attitude about the conversation is just different.
No, I agree. I was trying to think, like, I know some people when they get together with their friends, they have to go to a bar that has like themes and lights. But then I think about like they're talking about, and they're just talking, this drink is this, and look, this is a blue drink. That's so crazy. And I'm like, I don't care. Like there is something, and it's like, they want the loud music. And it's like, you can't have a good conversation if there's loud music, and you know what I mean? Like, then you're just, what? You have to almost shallow up your conversation because there's so much stimuli and so much going on. And people love that. And they're like, we got to do, like, if we get together, we need to be in a stimuli-based situation. I'm like, I'm the opposite.
Well,
I'm like, no, let's...
Yeah.
Cigar and whiskey.
Would say that they have a not well threaded connection that needs to be filled in with other crap.
That's interesting.
It needs that accessory, right? Like duct tape around it to keep it solidified, right? Without that duct tape, it's going to fall apart.
Because I mean, you see that in Hollywood. Even Hollywood shows, like, the high school house party, right? And everybody's like, hey, how's it going? Hey. And that's what because I was like, I remember when I toured with a band, right? But I would hang out with them when they came back to the area as well. Like, I hung out with them outside of just the tour. Yeah, okay. No, I get it. No, that's
Sorry.
Fine. No, I'm teasing.
It's you. It's just so boring.
I get it. No.
Yeah.
But it was like when you would go to these places, and maybe I'm just 2%, but I would like perceive the conversations, and I would kind of just like I would get a bit of this one, and I would see what's going on there, and I'm a watcher, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm a
yeah,
viewer,
me too.
and you're just like,
Social voyeurism. Very
yeah, and
fun.
you watch, and it's like none of these conversations matter at all. Like you're not getting to know each other. Like this is you. I got that all the time. They would always want to be around all these people and everything going on. And I'm like, nobody knows anything about anybody.
Because it's about them. It's
Yeah,
not
I
about the
guess
connection.
so.
It's about each individual person, right? And nothing else is what they're all
Yeah.
super insecure, looking for validation, trying to get that from the other people. That's all they care about is like, do you think I'm that? That might as well be what they're saying. Do you think I'm good? Do you think I'm? Would you thumbs up me or thumbs down me? What do you think of me? Oh, you over there? What do you think of me? And that's all of it, right?
Yeah.
They're just trying to outrank each other, and it is all super shallow. So the guy I watch on YouTube, Northernline, he made a great point about this that I thought was, I thought it was a beautiful point. He was at an aquarium, right, and he was having he said it did actual psychic damage to him to realize, but people put the fish
Psychological, probably more than psychic damage. D&D psychic damage. He's like, the voices are in my head. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Sure, psychological divine.
Yeah.
So people put the fish in the exhibits to be watched and to be observed, right? And so on. And well, what he saw, when he looked around, was everyone was like taking pictures of themselves with the fish, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, look at me with, and then they were posting that on social media. And it's like, we are the fish. We are in the aquarium. That is us, right? And we are intentionally choosing to do it. We are like, please, yes, put me in an exhibit. Make me a display for everyone around me so that they can all look at me. And I thought that it was a fantastic point and a social commentary on, we are all fish in the aquarium because we want to be fish in the aquarium.
Yeah. And I think there's something to it because, I was going to say, well, you could look at us. We're making a podcast and put it on the internet. But I think we're talking about, right? Like, there's substance to what we're doing. We're not just being like, hey, look at us.
It's not you and me. The point is sort of the discussion about what's going on.
Agreed.
Right? The ideas that are being
I'm not presented. Like, hey, guys, did you see my hat? Don't you think it's a cool hat? That's why the conversations stay shallow, right? Because there's less of a chance of you getting rejected and feeling deeply hurt if everything is on a shallow level that can be adjusted and shifted easily.
That is what people think. I think it's the opposite of the truth. But almost
no. That's why they do it. Not that they. Yes.
I think that the likelihood of one being rejected goes down the more you know about them. I think that if we all understood each other much, much better, we would all be far more empathetic and understanding. Because, like, you would know like why they are the way that maybe what they've been through, maybe the path that they went through to get to have this thing you don't like, right? But
might be right.
But I do think generally people tend to believe the shallow stuff is safer, right?
Well, I'll tell you why. You know what? That's an interesting position because I will say there's somebody who I have been playing games with recently. And their personality is very kind of hyper, but I know some of the stuff they've been going through. I know where they came from. And it did make me significantly more patient than I would have been. Like, if it would just been a interaction and I didn't somehow, and I guess they just talked about themselves, and I found out through that. If it wasn't through that, I absolutely probably would have moved on or kind of tried to. Because their personality does not mesh with me a whole lot, right? But me knowing, like, man, they've been through some stuff, and I understand why they talk this way. You're right. It does make me more empathetic. I don't know if they were, like, morally doing things that I do think there's a point where there has to be a limit there, right? Because there are stuff that's like, I cannot click with you. But I don't.
Yes.
It's like
if you like saw into a person's soul and saw that he wanted to like rape babies for the rest of
I wouldn't be like, it's because you were harmed as a child by your family, and therefore you've never matured. It's like it doesn't matter. You're still, I can't be around you.
Yeah, but I guess I'm talking about for the general person who is brought into this world a hopeful baby, looking for
Yes.
goodness and
Yeah.
joy, and slowly gets chipped away at. You know?
I think, you know what is it? I hate when I try to form thoughts while talking, but I do think part of the reason why I do or do not mesh with people is also off of whether or not they are able to think outside of themselves the way you do. Like, like, because there are some people who get stuck in, nope, this is what I think, this is how I'm always, or
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, the facts don't matter, I'm now protecting myself, and this is, I've already decided, and this would mean I was wrong in the past, I could never be wrong, so I am now stuck. Like, those are the people who I more than even, I can disagree with somebody on something, but if I get a sense that they're not doing it out of malice or out of self-centeredness more than malice, then I can still kind of be around it, right? Like, I can know, there's people who watch my stream that I know politically and socially I disagree with, but I kind of like their presence because they're smart, sharp people, and I don't think the reason they believe the things they believe comes from a super narcissistic. And I don't know, maybe I don't know them. That's I guess where I was coming back around. Maybe I don't know them well. Maybe it is. Maybe they are stubborn and it's whatever. But for now, since the way I know them to this degree,
Yeah.
I kind of accept that element because it's like, oh, they seem pretty nice and understanding and cool, and our brains click. Like, there's another person who's fairly intelligent. The way we think about humor, it's actually a lady that's married, so I'm not like trying to, this isn't my confession. Just in general, our sense of humor. Yes.
Tell me your mini.
I was gonna try. She's actually older than me too. So anyway, but we just tend to like, our sense of humor is pretty similar. Our sense, like, what we like in food is very, so we click pretty well. We can make jokes and like she catches the way you do, like I can make a joke and she catches it. You know what I mean? And it works. It's pleasant to be around someone. Like you say this all the time. It's pleasant to be around other intelligent people who can meet you at your level. And you don't have to be like, you don't have to kind of like dumb stuff down. You can just hit it and they're like, yeah, boom, they catch it on the run. And
Exactly.
it's interesting how that, God, man, I'm having an epiphany.
It favors my connection point about earlier, right? It's a linear thing, right?
God dang it. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Man, this is
I needed this. I don't know if this is a good podcast or it's just good for me because I've been thinking about stuff, and that you'll give me stuff to contemplate for the rest of the week. I don't know if this is an enjoyable listen at all, but as I currently think through things and process, I don't know if the conversation is pleasant to listen to at all. But it's good for me, so you all get to suck it up and deal with it.
I think it's good.
Okay, good. I'm trying to think where I've got two more points that we could talk about. I'm trying to decide which one is most the easiest flow into something.
Okay, give me 1 second here to adjust my.
Yeah. Give me a chance to smoke a cigar without TikTok banning me for smoking my cigar.
All right.
Let's do this one. So I think there's this cool trend. This is the one positive, again, of social media, right? We always talk about the negatives. Here's one that I think is a cool positive trend. I've been seeing young men reading quality books, like great books that me and you would both approve. Be like, yeah, that's a good. It makes you think. It is a well-written book. People need to read these books. And then they are talking about it and then encouraging others to read these books and read books. And it's like almost like it's not a manosphere thing, but it is a young men encouraging. But I think it'd be good for women to do it too.
Young man book club.
Yes, but it's like just posting it on social media, right? Like it's and saying, hey, you should do it too. Oh, it was like the ice bucket challenge, but for books, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good, healthy thing. And I love seeing that trend over oh, you should do this other shallow entertainment thing, right? Like
A
so
million
much of
ways
it
to
is
shake your ass on camera for
yes,
attention.
or
Yeah.
or even oh, I played this video game. You should. It's like I think other people are like, wow, this really made me think, and here's what I thought, and here's how it generated my or inspired my brain or whatever to do more thinking. What do you think? Read this book and tell me what you think. Like, I think that's such. I was happy. I guess that gave me a little bit of faith in humanity, right? Like maybe there's the books are coming back, like
So,
maybe they got so burned out on so much trash entertainment that somehow from the burned ashes of the forest that is modern society, there is a green spriggin of book knowledge and wisdom that is growing amongst the youth. I don't know. What do you think?
I hope so. I mean, I'm so sick of reading. I am so sick of reading. It's like I have done so much reading
That's true.
in the last 10 years. I'm just tired, man. I'm tired,
Yeah.
boss. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But I think there are a lot of men out there who have not done enough, so yeah, that seems great. My initial horrible cynical thought is, well, how long, if that takes off as a trend, how long before people are like, I read this book, and they didn't actually read it, and they just chat GPT'd, hey, give me a summary and something that I can say to people, so on. And
God, you're right. God, you're
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, you're freaking right. It's cool now because it's pure and it's genuine and it's small.
Yes.
The second it starts moving the algorithm to be that people will absolutely start ripping it off and start figuring out a way to get disingenuous about it and just get clicks. God, I hate that you're right about that.
But I'm not right about it yet. So we can enjoy the good part. We can enjoy the good part now.
We can enjoy the positive. Yes. Please go read good books, especially when you're young and develop between like the ages of like 16 and 23. Yeah. Read a lot. That's when you you should absolutely be getting and good stuff. Like,
I'm also kind of tired of this view that fiction is for women, right? Mm-hmm. Like fiction books are for women. I do think there's a lot of fiction out there that men could read and enjoy and think is fantastic. And it doesn't have to be all like in the cultural divorce, women got fiction and men got self-help books. I don't like that trade-off, right? Yeah. I want us to reconvene with some of, I would like some of the women to perhaps get some self-help books, and I would like for some of the men to get fiction.
There is a reason for this, though. And this is a fact
that are writing.
Well, it's not. Yeah, the publishers have started intentionally, almost and only publishing. It's like 85 or 90% female authors.
Yeah,
but and they're choosing
that doesn't do anything to what's been out there before, right? Like
yes, you go. Yes, get older stuff. Yes,
you can go with Aragon. There is some stuff out there that you could absolutely dive into.
I would say I think that's why that mentality is there, is because most modern fiction is very heavily geared one side, and so I think that's why that mentality. But you're right, men should absolutely be able to go and find. Maybe that could be something we could, like a list of like good fiction for young men, like grown yet adult men. And that didn't used to be. That's sad though, right? Because there used to be a little bit more, like, oh, this came out and it's good, and bros could just bro out to it, right? Yeah. And it's sad that that's starting to get like just.
You should have seen it at the school when the new Hunger Games book came out. When the new Hunger Games book came out, like 4 or 5 of the female teachers were getting together every morning being like, oh my God, I read 400 pages last night. Oh my God, I read 200, I just can't put it down, blah, blah, blah. And they are having the girl version of that, right? Over the fiction. I'm like, man, guys guys can't do that.
We have to go back to, hey, that guy that was alive 100 years ago? Tolkien? Have you read his stuff? Have you went back and C.S. Lewis? Have you read his stuff? You almost have to go dig into the Inklings. Like, just go dig into the Inklings. Yeah. That's what I would say. If you're a young man, that is a great place to start. It may not be the full.
I think it builds like like fantasy thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it allows you to remove yourself from your own mind. It forces you to, in fact, to engage with fiction books, if that makes sense. Like maybe that's part of the problem here. Self-help books are all from your perspective,
They're
right?
all
Like
about
what you
you.
can
They're
do, and
they're selfish.
100%, and that's bad
Yep.
compared to fantasy, where it's like, oh yes, there's a talking lion next to me, and it's like, okay, I have to like break from reality to imagine this
Yes.
scenario, and I think it's a skill that is being lost, and maybe this is part of the reason why I hadn't thought of it until now.
You're
But
not,
maybe,
and yet, like, let's just take Lord of the Rings, right? You read
yeah,
stuff from the perspective of each Hobbit, from Aragorn,
yeah,
from Legolas, like, because they will talk, and then you have to shift your perspective over to
yeah.
what is this character experiencing? What are they? It does teach you to
And
take
you have to
things from other,
empathize
yeah,
with
with
those other
multiple,
characters
yes.
and their situations. Yeah,
It's
beautiful
actually,
thing.
oh my God, yes. We've figured out half of the. You need fiction that makes you positively relate to other characters throughout the thing instead of, yeah. And I do think that's something that it's interesting. I think in movies and stuff, it does become more and more self-centered. I think like video games. I think that's probably the biggest thing that has tried to destroy video games was the group of people who wanted every character has to relate be them, right?
Right.
And so no, you can't have a video game for this group of people because I'm not that group of people and I don't relate to it. So that's wrong. And it's like, no, it's okay.
Abstract outside yourself.
Yeah.
See what it might be like, right?
I mean, I always think, how many men played
Lara
Tomb
Croft.
Raider?
Yep.
Yep. And then
Knew
we're
where you were going.
Yep. I mean, there's other female characters, but it's like, that is the primary, it's like, and they were able to do it and enjoy it. It's like, you can get outside yourself. That's okay. Nobody ever really thought, look, I played it. I never was like, I'm a fatty bitch. Like,
I have never been a, Renaissance Italian man, but Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed 2 with Ezio is fucking phenomenal, right? Do I know what it's like to have my entire family killed before me and to feel revenge on, no, of course I do not, right? And yet I must empathize and abstract outside of myself there's so many different facets that you have to, remove yourself from to go with another, whatever the thing is. Doesn't all have to be like gay, bisexual, whatever.
No, you're right. Yeah. No, I agree. Anyway, okay. You know what?
How many guys played Cassandra in the Assassin's Creed Odyssey game? Right, it was like the character that, like,
I didn't. I did play the
Alexios.
Alexios. Yeah, I did play the dude. I do tend to. But even that's still outside of me, right? Like, it still was a different. It wasn't me.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, I agree. It's yeah. That's interesting. And I don't think you always have to, right? Because there's a lot of times when I play an MMORPG that I will make a character that's more similar to me. But I know people who always... But I tend to do that with an MMO. But I think that's almost like you do represent you in that world a little bit more, right? Like, you're not playing another character. You are kind of playing... But some people choose to do that.
What we enjoy about it, right? Like Kins, he plays a female character and a male character, right? He is no problem playing a female character and just doing, and it's because he doesn't interface with the games in the same way, where it's like, this is my avatar, right?
Yes.
He's like, no, this is the character, like the action figure I'm playing with, right?
Yeah.
Is how he
yeah. No, I agree. Huh. Okay, well, so I do figure out a little bit of a transition. So we're talking about being selfish and being self-focused.
As I am,
and this is my final thing. I'm going to use a sports example, but the idea that we're talking about is bigger than that, and I think it'll expand beyond that. So recently, Alabama did this thing where there's a player who played for their team, then went into the NBA draft. So you can say, I am giving up the rest of my NCAA eligibility. I'm no longer, and he signed an NBA contract, played in the NBA G League for 3 years under an NBA contract, and then decided since he didn't make it ever to the main league, he went back and he's playing for Alabama after being 3 years of a pro. He went back and started playing, and they're actually getting ready to rule on this. This is a current thing. But this opened the door to a player who has actually played in the NBA. He played 10 games with the Charlotte Hornets. So he has been in the NBA, and he's now trying to come back and play college ball because he didn't stay there the whole time, right? But basically, Alabama allowed this to happen. They wanted this guy to come back because they thought, well, now we can get a good player. Is basically what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And my point was, just because you can take advantage of a situation doesn't mean you should. Because that was the argument they kept. Well, it's what about this? What about that? They kept trying to make it like a more. And by the way, they weren't correct. There's a difference between European professional leagues. They don't have colleges over there. It's, even their high schools aren't developed enough. So players coming out of American high schools are way more prepared, like from how they've been coached, to go play in college and then play in the pros, the NBA pros, than high school players in basically anywhere else on the planet. And so they, instead of going to college, they go into their professional leagues, but their professional leagues don't develop them the same. They don't have the resources, they don't have the coaching. It's not the same as the NBA, And so the NCAA allows foreign players who have been in a professional league to gain, if they haven't been in the NCAA yet, to come in and be an NCAA player. And that was the excuse they were trying to use. But the primary thing is, I don't think just because there is a rule in which you can take advantage of and you could do it, that doesn't mean you should. And I think I see that logic a lot. It's like, well, they didn't stop me, or it's part of the rules. I can get away with it. It's like, yeah, but you shouldn't. Like, what do you know? But you shouldn't. And so I don't know.
agree.
Like, how does that carry over? It's just like a social thing. I see people doing that outside of sports, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the claim that I always make is like, you become an adult when you start to set standards for yourself. Like the standards of others don't matter as much as the ones that you are okay with. Like, if you are not okay with stealing something, or if you are okay with stealing something, then...
So I know where to cut. But yes, so you were talking about good things, and I don't remember where we even left off, other than being immature, like knowing that you can take advantage of something and choosing not to do it is a sign of maturity. And I think that's maybe that's such an issue with our society. So I do think we are really pushing just not maturing and not growing up.
Or we're not even calling it what it is. Like we're not pointing at it and saying, yes, this is them not growing up. We're saying this is normal, right?
Yeah.
This is okay. Like this. That I think is the bigger problem.
You're right. The normalization of delay, and there is something too. Like we talked about this before, but there's something about maturity, intelligence. A lot of that people have went too far towards just being like, oh, it's genetics, nothing you can do. Whereas, or there's nothing you can do about it. I'm not going to cut myself off there. Whereas we both agree, like, no, you can build maturity or intelligence, and it's like, you go back even 40 years ago, I guarantee you there are 18 to 20-year-olds who are more mature and ready to face life as adults than there are 25, 30-year-olds now. And intellect is like that too, right? You have to flex it, you have to use it, you have to, and it will solidify it, and that's why I think our society is having a lot of issues with, I mean, just everything from politics to socio-economic, everything is we keep extending the amount of time that you don't grow up, you don't mature, you don't have to do things, and it's having a very negative social impact. We're seeing that.
Agreed. And I think another element of it is, I hate to harp on parents, but I think it's a lot of failed parenting, because I think a lot of maturity and intellect and wisdom comes from like what I would call life experience, getting beat down a little bit, and I think that there is so much protection that is, afforded to my little baby. My little baby is going to be protected. I'm going to take care of my little baby. They're not, the mother bird flings its child out of the nest on like the 4th day or something and says, "Fly, bitch."
Yeah.
Like, and I think that we generally are afraid to do that, right? I think a lot of people are so like, my child needs to drink their milk and eat their vegetables and get 8 hours of sleep a night and be in 3 extracurriculars and this and that and the other, and they're all super protective, I guess is what I would say, right? Like, you're not allowed to go down the street, you're not allowed to ride your bike.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some element of parenting that's good. I do think, like,
absolutely,
teaching your kid to eat vegetables is good, like, because that is on you to establish. If you're, I frustrates me so much when there are like 13-year-olds who are just hyper obese, because that is parenting.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you are setting your kid up for unhealthy life. They're not going to be happy. People aren't going to find them. You know, fact is that people won't find them as attractive as they would if they were even like. You don't have to be chiseled, but you know.
Right, but not obese.
Yeah,
right?
not when like you're having heart issues when you're a child because your diet has been so bad.
I was thinking about this with my parents, and I hope you'll see where I'm going. My parents did a great job of giving me support. You know, whenever I wanted to do something, they would drive me to the soccer games, they'd drive me to practice, they would watch, they would, so on. But they did a terrible job of giving me guidance. You know. The sort of expectation was that I would be sort of self-determined when I was like 12, but no one ever said any of this stuff. It was just like, oh, well, what do you want to do? Oh, you want to, okay, we'll support you in that, right? And so on. It's like they need some guidance, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, it might not be a great idea to do that. You might want to maybe do this other thing that's somewhat similar, and maybe we can figure something, right? To guide along the way is, I think, a neglected part. I think way more people are focused on being supportive than giving guidance.
You're right. Instead of providing guidance and good advice, what they've done instead is they're overprotective of no matter what the decision they have. See, that's the thing, right? Like, you have to let bad decisions have. I mean, you want to keep it from having completely life-altering.
Yeah, you put the net up.
Yes. But you want them to feel like, if you do something dumb, it needs to sting so they learn this is dumb. I mean, that's how you learn social. That's why so many people are socially awkward, right? Is they just never did. They didn't get that feedback of like, oh, when you say mean stuff to people and they ostracize you, that maybe I shouldn't do mean stuff. Maybe I should watch what I say. That is an interesting element that yes, like they switched, they flipped it. Instead of providing guidance, but letting the choices through the guidance like have repercussions, they have just said whatever you do is right, and we'll just make it always work out for you.
And we arrive again at, I think it's the language that we've used and how it's evolved over time that has caused it, because no one wants to be viewed as paternalistic is the word, right? Paternalistic is the word that gets thrown around, like you are imposing your will on the child as a parent. It's like everyone doesn't want to be, oh, I don't want to be that. I want to be loving and supportive. Those words are nice. I like those words. And thus, here we are, I think.
It's like, it's not loving if you see your kid walking towards the electrical outlet with a fork.
That is always my claim. Yeah.
Like,
it is always my claim that
it's loving to teach them. Yeah.
If you actually loved them, then you would need to like have the uncomfortable part of them, not liking you because you've told them what is right.
Yeah.
That is your obligation if you really love them. If you love yourself more, or you love the feeling of going along to get along more, then you're not going to do those things, and you're not going to be perhaps as good a parent as you could be.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it is interesting. That's how you get people who ask for permission to hug trees. I shared a short with or a skit with Placebo earlier, where a guy that we love, that you've all seen if you've watched this podcast before, Lima Omega, and the clip he was reacting to was some woman who was hugging a tree, but she said, I always what was it? Oh gosh,
ask for consent.
Consent is important when hugging trees. And so I asked for consent. If my body leans towards the tree, I take that as a sign that consent has been given. And
which, by the way, if any guy or girl said that about the person that they were getting into it with, oh well, my body leaned forward and I took that as consent. That wouldn't hold up at all.
No, it was like psycho. Yeah,
near holding up. But apparently it works for trees.
I love that Olima, when he was doing it, he was like kind of like, he had his arm up and he was like spitting game, and then he moved in to get a kiss, and they had the branch like smack him on the head, like the tree actually rejected him. It was fantastic, but he does good stuff, man. He does good stuff. Figured I'd end the podcast on a bit of a funny, positive note.
We love Olima.
I do, yeah. Watch your stuff, absolutely. Well, everybody, I think that's a good week. We're over an hour. We went over an hour, even with once I edit out the break. We'll still be well over an hour. So, good conversation was had, and we'll see you again next week, hopefully. Bye bye. Yeah, we're both snacking, as you can tell. We're starving, so.